Hi, and welcome to Jen and Dan's Natural Healing with Plants, the go to podcast for holistic health seekers looking to harness the power of nature for health and healing. I'm Jen, a passionate health educator, whole food plant based culinary coach, and master herbalist. And I'm here with my friend Dan, an exercise specialist and wonderful master herbalist. Together, we dive into the world of natural healing, bringing you a wealth of knowledge and practical advice. We draw from both traditional and modern science with herbs and foods to help you achieve optimal health. So, today we are talking about skin health. So, this could be acne, eczema, rosacea, dull, tired skin, random rashes. I had a bout with, I'm pretty sure it was psoriasis for a couple of years there. And the truth is, your skin is a direct reflection of what's going on inside of your body. So when we put things on top of the skin, like we're trying to cover it up, we really need to be looking on the inside and healing your skin from within.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of people I think it's just a skin problem, so they'll put some kind of ointment or medicated steroid lotion,
Mhm.
and it will make it go away for a time. But if you don't fix the underlying issue, it always comes back. People with eczema, they suffer with it their whole life, most because they just treat the outside.
Right. So this reminds me, for a long time, I would get those giant like cysts on my chin. I'd get those randomly, I thought, after a while. And those are really, they're a sign that your hormones are off, your sex hormones are off. And so when I think about that, when I first learned about that, I realized when I had my kids, it was like right when my kids were real little, like 1 or 2 months old, I'd have these massive cysts on my chin, pimples, those volcanoes, and it makes total sense. Of course, my hormones were totally out of whack, a month or two after delivering a baby. Everybody's would be. And so that's, a sign of my hormones were out of balance causing that. Well, what was I doing? I was putting antibacterials and, all sorts of things on top. I wasn't focusing on getting my hormones straightened out.
Yes, yes. Pregnancy does interfere with hormones. I
Yes.
have, and that's
How much
that's the
experience
thing.
have you had with that?
Yeah, not much. I've just seen people.
Uh-huh.
But it's true though, because how many people will say, well, man, this rash I have, they will never link it to hormones unless they educate themselves. But
Right.
hormones is another big factor.
Right, right. Yeah, so if you're dealing with skin issues, you have to think about what could be going on the inside. How's your digestion? We haven't talked about poop in a while. Are
Well,
you
I know.
pooping after every large meal? Or are you constipated? If you're not going after every large meal, which is what our body is designed to do, then their chances are you are reabsorbing toxins. They're not being moved out appropriately. So instead, they're going right back to the liver and they can build up in there and throw your hormones off. It might not be sex hormones, it could be any of the other hormones going on in your body, but it could also be a toxic buildup. And that's coming out through your skin. If it's not coming out through your bowels, it's going to start coming out through your skin. Are you feeding your gut the right food? So, microbiome is such a huge word in the world today, but we have to feed our microbiome. And what does it want? It wants those brightly colored foods, those rainbow foods, and I'm not talking about Skittles. We want fruits and vegetables of all different colors and varieties. That's feeding your gut healthy foods, as well as probiotics that come in the form of foods. Yes, you can take probiotics, but it's much better to get a broad spectrum that you get from eating kimchi, sauerkraut, yogurt, and then eating those foods that actually feed the probiotics, which are like in root vegetables. Eating your root vegetables are wonderful for helping your microbiome. And then, are there toxins building up in your system? What are you putting on your skin? My number one rule for food is always read the ingredients, but that includes everything that you are being exposed to in your air, in your water, in your cleaning products, but also in your lotion, your shampoo, your toothpaste, your conditioner, your shaving cream. What chemicals are in there? I can't remember, and you may know, Dan. I remember reading a study at one time. It was how many toxins, like I was reading the average woman has in the morning, like before they get to work. It's something like 180 different chemicals that they're exposed to, which it just blew my mind. But if you think about it, if you get in the shower and use shampoo that has, 10, 15 chemicals, and conditioner, another 10 to 15 chemicals, and soap, 5 to 10, depending on, I mean, you can buy these natural without any chemicals. But the typical person, they don't, they buy the ones from, like, I don't want to use companies, but in the mall, you go into the mall and they have those really smelly products. Those are all chemicals. We don't need those chemicals. And then you
No.
brush your teeth, then you put on makeup or moisturizer, and you use hair mousse, or hairspray or hair gel, you know, and then all that, how many things is that? Just adds up so quickly.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, look at your hairspray, shampoo, and a lot of people don't even think about these things, but you can actually start to build an allergy to some of these chemicals. Not to mention, they get inside your body and they sit there, and
Mm,
so they can irritate your skin too. I mean, I I recently had an experience with somebody in my life that had this. All of a sudden, he developed this bad rash, and we couldn't figure it out.
mhm,
Well, he's having some difficulty with his memory. Come to find out, he was taking shampoo and he was rubbing it on his skin he thought was lotion. And you wouldn't believe it. I mean, it gave him this horrible rash. That is how strong these shampoos are. I mean, his skin was flaking, it was red, it was coming off just from shampoo.
wow,
Just from shampoo.
that's crazy.
So a lot of these things are not good for you. I know they're
Yes,
just not. And the good news is if you do your research, you can find all natural products. I have because I know how bad
me
like
too.
your commercial shampoos are. They're not good for you.
Right. Yeah, me too. Like I said, read the ingredients. You should be able to eat it. It's going into your
Yeah.
skin, it's being digested by your body, it's going to your liver. When we eat food, it's exposed to the acids in your stomach. But when you put it on your skin, it goes straight into the blood to your liver,
Yep.
and then into your blood. And so we need to think about that. What are you putting in? We have huge pores on the top of our head. We don't think about the pores on our scalp, but we have very large pores on our scalp and the bottom of our feet. So if I'm putting harsh shampoo or conditioner, I need that special expensive shampoo and conditioner to have luxurious beautiful hair, and it's being exposed to those pores on my head. It's running down my spine, is landing in the tub, and if my tub's not draining, I'm standing in it, and those large pores on the bottom of my feet are soaking those up as well. Maybe I'm going to be doing some hair color. Let's put some dye on this hair, and then it's going into those pores. It's going down your spine, all of that. So we really need to pay attention to things like that, which didn't mean to go off tangent, but we really need to think about everything that our skin is being exposed to.
Yeah, I mean, toxicology is the missing link with health. I mean, most doctors aren't going to talk to you about toxicology, but
No.
what we were taught, it's about yeah, I know nourishment, but you also have to watch what's going into your body because it's going to affect you.
Yes.
Chemicals are going to affect you, and whether depending on your genetic weakness depends on how it may manifest in your body. And why
Yes.
are we talking about this? Because it can show up on your skin.
Yes.
The skin
Yes.
is an organ that eliminates. That's why it's good to
Yes.
sweat.
Yes. Yes. So when we look at certain conditions, we can kind of see where it is related to in the body. So acne. So when do you think about acne most? Teens.
Hmm.
Huge hormonal changes, and usually that's related to the liver as well. Our liver is what helps to balance our hormones, and if the liver's out of um not functioning because we're exposed to so many toxins, yes, it is functioning, but it's focusing on toxins instead of balancing hormones, because those toxins are really dangerous for those kids. How much coffee are kids drinking these days? And so um caffeine in their sodas, chemicals in the sodas, exposed to so many different foods, those are clogging the liver. Add on processed foods and flour products and all that with more toxins, so liver has to focus on those instead of balancing their hormones, and it starts popping up on the skin. And then we could also talk about eczema and psoriasis. So, like for me, 2 years ago, I had horrible outbreak of psoriasis. Most of you know I have a history of autoimmune disease, and I've had 5 different ones. Usually, I have the one main one, and then the rest they'll go away, and they'll come back, and they'll go away and come back. But I had psoriasis, and it was at the same time that my doctor retired, and I couldn't find a doctor that would help me. For those of you who don't know, I live in the state of Georgia, and we have really strict guidelines on being able to get certain medications, and I'm allergic to the medication that they use for standard. What is it? Standard care. I'm missing a word in
Yeah.
there.
Standard
This
of care.
standard of care is a certain medication that is given for autoimmune thyroid disease, and I'm allergic to it. Well, I'd go to a doctor and they'd say, I can't help you. And I'd say, well, this is what works. This is what I need to take. It was a compounded medication. We don't prescribe compounded medications. And I'd go to another one, same thing. So I ended up, my thyroid got out of balance. Yes, I had radiation after I fought for 7 years. That's a whole nother story. You can find it on another episode. Um, and so I have to have thyroid hormone. I don't have a choice. I haven't been able to regrow my thyroid. And so with that, I just kept getting bounced around doctor to doctor and end up getting really sick. Lots of inflammation and psoriasis. Psoriasis is an autoimmune condition, the same with eczema. And so, if you are under a lot of stress, you have genetic tendencies for autoimmune disease, then eczema and or psoriasis. They very likely are going to pop up. It's genetic, environmental, and then the stressor are going to create those. And so, it's calming the inflammation. And then rosacea. That's a really common one. A lot of people have issues with rosacea. And that's
Yeah.
usually
And
related also to gut health or food sensitivities. I didn't mean to cut you off.
yeah, and all these conditions, they come and go, especially when you're just treating the outside. I mean, if you go to a dermatologist, they're going to give you some kind of cream. If you have rosacea, they usually give you antibiotic and some kind of steroid cream, and they tell you you have to live with it. So it pops up
Yeah,
every few weeks, right? They don't tell you, maybe you should look at your diet, see if you're allergic to some things. They're definitely not going to tell you to go on a cleanse because that's just ridiculous, right? But you should, you should
yeah,
look. And a cleanse just isn't cleaning your internal body. It's also like we were talking. Look at all the products you're using.
right,
You probably
right.
need to throw most of them out and replace it with organic, natural things.
Yes, yes. And doing a food elimination diet.
Hmm.
Yeah, a lot of people, gluten will show up as rosacea. Dairy is a huge one. The babies with the bright red cheeks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's take dairy away. Yes, you can live without dairy. Even babies after breast milk. After they turn 1 years old, there are alternatives to using cow milk, but just try it out and you'll see that red can go away if that's their sensitivity.
And also, a lot of people don't think about this, but you think about the water that you shower with. Most of the
Hmm.
water we have that is so many chemicals and things. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have one now, but you can get a filter for your shower head, and that
Hmm.
helps filter some of the chlorine and stuff that because the chlorine is kind of harsh on your skin. So,
Right. Right. Drying.
mhm,
And competes with the thyroid,
yep,
iodine for the thyroid. Yes. Yeah, and so we talked a lot about hormones, but other hormones that really can influence are cortisol, insulin, estrogen, testosterone, which are sex hormones. But all of these different hormones, if they're out of balance, they can show up.
yeah. Well, if somebody's diabetic, you can see a lot of times their skin starts to get darker around the back of their neck. And so
Skin
that's the
tags.
yeah, skin tags. So
Hmm.
a lot of things are going to show up on the skin. The skin is really a window into how internally healthy you are.
Yes. Yes, because it's really the same lining. We have this
Yeah.
barrier that protects us from the outside world. Well, the intestinal tract is the same thing. It's not exposed to everything. It's like kind of like a hose going through your body, and it has little tiny pores where food can go through. Same thing. If I put lotion on my hand, it gets absorbed in my skin. The food in my body gets in my intestines gets absorbed into my body, and so it's the same kind of thing. It's all the same similar materials, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
and
remember
all
the
connected.
story Dr. Christopher talked about? You had a guy or woman, she had boils breaking out all over.
Mhm. Oh,
And
yeah.
she was so constipated when you're the body was actually trying to get rid of the waste through the skin again.
Yeah.
And so they do a bowel cleanse and they clean her
Mhm.
up and then the boils start to go away. This is how
Yes.
I mean, it's all linked to internal. You can't, I mean, the medical system says, they have specialists for your heart, a specialist for your kidneys. Act like it's all these different parts, but they all works together as a whole system,
All the same system.
you know?
Yes. Yeah, which is one of the reasons why I do my liver cleanse, which actually
Yes.
starts in a couple of weeks. But
Yes.
we focus on that seasonally, in the spring and the fall, because we're exposed to so many things. And people say, well, I have a liver and kidneys to detox everything for me. Well, if I lived back in the time of Adam and Eve with fresh air and clean water, maybe I wouldn't have to be doing a cleanse. But I live in a world where there's chemicals in my water and my air and everything else in between, my laundry detergent, my dishwashing detergent, all of that stuff, and I'm exposed to it, and I'm breathing in the air circulated in my air conditioner. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on, right? So I
Oh,
need to
yeah.
work on cleaning my filters. I need to make sure that my digestive tract is moving, where I am pooping after every large meal. I'm drinking at least half my body weight in ounces in clean water, water that doesn't have chemicals in it, flushing the kidneys, making sure things moving on, and that I'm eating a diet that is very mineral rich and full of colorful fruits and vegetables. So I need to do all of that. And so my 14-day liver cleanse helps us with that. We work on using supplements and tools. I'm wearing a castor oil pack at the moment, actually, but things to actually help the liver, help us to relax from these chemicals and process them out, and opening these pathways and boosting the foods that help to cleanse, which also cleans the skin. Like, I can't believe how many people, when they go through something like this, a cleanse, where after day 3, like, some people even will say, "I think I'm seeing clearer." It's like it clears up not only your skin, but it clears up your vision as well. And it may be from, the diet, the foods that heal the body, heal the skin, heal the eyes, heal the heart, all of those foods, the dark leafy greens,
Oh,
bright
yeah.
colorful berries, right? Which also help with collagen in your skin. Avocados and nuts, those healthy fats, vitamin E, tons of vitamin E in our nuts and seeds. Those are wonderful, wonderful foods for our skin. Flax and chia seeds, very anti-inflammatory. And then our fermented foods, which help to feed the microbiome.
Yeah, it's wonderful when you eat these foods, they heal the body. They help the body heal itself because
Mhm.
that's what it's really all about. You have to take care of your internal health and your emotional health, which is always kind of a troublesome area for some people.
Mhm.
But you can't get away from the body as a whole. You just can't. It's the way it
Right.
works.
Right. Right.
But it should be good news because if you have some kind of rash that you battle every day,
Mhm.
if you start paying attention to your food, to doing a cleanse, getting rid of some of the chemicals around you, you may get clear skin. One of
Yes.
so
What herbs would you use with someone? So after we address the diet, we remove sugar, we remove irritants like gluten and dairy and things like that. What herbs would you add in? Because I want everyone to hear me. You can't just add herbs and not change something else in your diet. We have to remove the chemicals and remove what's causing the skin irritation. But then we can add herbs to enhance that.
well, I do it's definitely, I like to cleanse the bowels first. So I like Cascara Sagrada, which I don't use it by itself. I always use the formula of Dr. Christopher's formula because it's
Mhm.
so important to have bowel movements. I know we talk about this a lot, but that's how everything gets out of the body.
Yes. Yes.
And even
So true.
me, I even take herbs here and there because my bowels will slow down. Even though I'm vegan and I try to drink a lot of water, from time to
Mhm.
time I still take herbs to get me going again because I want to have at least 2 or 3 bowel movements a day. I know 2 or 3, like, yeah, 2 or 3.
2 or 3
Because
after every large
yes,
meal.
we
Mhm.
live in an unnatural environment. We're bombarded 24/7 with chemicals. We have to get
Yes.
them out. So we would
Yeah.
start with the bowel herbs.
Mhm. Yeah,
And
and think about a puppy or a baby. You feed them, and then they poop. We've
yeah,
gotten away from that, from our
mhm,
habits and our foods, yeah.
mhm.
So, yeah, so like that, so digestive herbs. And then what herbs would you use next?
I would use something for the liver and gallbladder. I would go on
Mhm.
milk thistles. I would go with Oregon grapefruit, maybe some ginger,
You
marshmallow
know
root. Huh?
oh, yeah, soothing marshmallow. I was thinking bitter herbs,
Oh
bitter.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, bitter greens, so eating bitter greens, dandelion greens, arugula. I don't like arugula, but I can choose other
Yeah.
bitter
Yeah.
greens, because they're wonderful for you, full of minerals, what helps the liver, but also bitter, that bitterness. We got into where we're in a society that loves sugar, where we need to be eating more of these bitter, mineral-rich foods. Yeah, but I didn't mean to cut you off. So marshmallow.
Yeah, marshmallow is another herb that actually soothes the insides and the outside. You can use it as a well, you can make your own, or you can buy a balm with marshmallow
Mhm,
root. Oh, Dr.
mhm.
Christopher has a good one. I think it's called Soothing Skin Formula. It's marshmallow root, and I think it's I want to say
Probably
calendula,
calendula. Yeah.
calendula.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite. So I make calendula oil and I use if I like when I had this my psoriasis, I focused on the liver. I used calendula oil and also made some calendula salve and I used that a lot, but I also used a cayenne salve, which sounds
Oh,
crazy. It's hot, but it brings blood to the area as well, adds lots of nutrients, vitamin C and things like that as well. So I would use a use that burning actually brought relief
yeah.
um, to the skin, to the rash, and so I like that. But calendula is so soothing and healing. It's a wonderful one, and it can be drink. You can drink it as a tea, because if I'm showing up with a red irritation on the outside, there's probably red and irritation on the inside. And so drinking, marshmallow tea or calendula tea, a tea that contains those with a burdock root. Burdock root is wonderful for cleaning up the blood. We call it our blood cleanser, and so that can also help with clearing up acne and eczema and other conditions too. So I love burdock. And then nettles. Nettles is wonderful, wonderful for bone, skin, hair, teeth, very high in minerals. So that's another one as well.
Oh yes, that's a really good one. Actually, I saw a study with nettle root. It actually kind of works like cortisone. They say it has such anti-inflammatory properties, but it doesn't have the
Mhm.
side effects of cortisone.
Yes.
I'm glad you're talking about we're cleaning internally. We always work on the inside and the outside. So I'm cleansing
Mhm.
internally, and if I want to, I can put herbal remedies on my skin. So, but you want to
Yes.
do both.
Yes. Yes. Soothe the symptoms. You have
Yeah.
rash or is red. We want to soothe that, but make sure you're focusing on the inside as well.
A lot of people forget that, or they don't even know to focus on the inside.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Well, there's foods we should avoid too. That's going to mess our skin up. Of course,
Yes.
of course, processed food. Ugh, you know,
Yeah, throw them out.
talk
Throw them
about
out.
inflammation.
Yes, reading those ingredients. Look at the ingredients, what's in there. That is not stuff you want to put in your body.
No, it's just like going back to your shampoo bottle. You can't even pronounce the things in it. This food's got, I mean, so we're bombarded with chemicals on such a large scale now. It's almost unbelievable.
Right.
It really is.
It is. It is. Yeah, it's insane.
You have to watch that. And of course, dairy is bad for people.
Mhm.
You know, it gives people acne, it triggers. A lot of people are allergic to dairy. It also has hormones
Yep.
that's
Yeah,
going to wreak
so add
havocs.
hormones to an
Yeah,
imbalanced body. Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And of
And
course,
then
sugar, refined
yeah.
sugar. Of course, that's going to be in your processed foods. It spikes your insulin. It leads to inflammation and breakouts. So, if you want sugar, I'll always say go to your fresh fruit.
Yes. Vitamin rich with fiber.
Hmm.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, so avoiding those foods, adding in healthy, vibrant foods high in fiber and minerals. I'm using herbs that help to cleanse the body, but also provide lots of minerals and nourish your body as well. And then adding those herbs that are soothing, the calendula, the marshmallow, aloe. Taking aloe internally, I do want to say a little quick thing about that. You don't want to drink too much aloe. Aloe, is wonderful for the skin, but we only use a little bit. And so if you're taking it internally, an ounce of aloe in a glass of water, maybe up to 3 times a day, but I would not drink a whole bottle of aloe juice. You can easily buy that in the store, but I don't recommend drinking that. Do you have anything else you'd like to add before we close up?
Well, just say as usual, manage your stress too, because that's it's like
Yes.
it's another very important thing. You have to because if you're stressed out all the time, you have more inflammation and more cortisol. So
Right. And then that throws everything out of balance
yeah.
and can show up on your skin. Yes. And I love how you said in the beginning that your skin's the mirror of what's going on the inside. So we really have to pay close attention to that. Yeah. So start with your gut, clean up the diet, support your skin with herbs and healthy habits, sweating, which Dan mentioned, and staying well hydrated is so important. So thank you for joining us today. If you like this episode, please like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel and comment. We love, love, love to hear from our listeners. So, thank you for joining us. We hope this inspired you to take care of your skin health from the inside out. If you would like to find out more about me, you can go to Holistic Gen, that's with a W, holisticgen.com, and you can find Dan at danthenaturalman.com. So until next time, keep healing with plants and glowing from the inside out.